Notion databases don't have to be a nightmare. If you want a clean, more intuitive way to organize your projects, this is the video for you. In this next video in the Notion for Beginners series, we'll explore both how to group your data and use Notion's new conditional formatting to highlight what truly matters. Let's get started. Okay, we're back in the Notion for Beginners hub, and I'm going to duplicate the tracker that we built in the last video. I did that by clicking it and hitting Control-D on my keyboard, Command-D on a Mac. Every so often, it does take a second to duplicate pages, so just be aware of that. And I'm going to update it to remove that, to edit the version. And then in this video, we're going to cover grouping and conditional formatting. I'm going to drag this just a smidge, drag that down. There we go. And I don't have the YouTube video link in for the last video because I'm batching these because I'm efficient today, and I'll plug those in as they go live. All right, here's where we left off. And the next thing I want to do before we get to grouping is I want to add a few more statuses because I have the basics here, but I want a few more because I think there are a few more that'll be helpful, and also it'll help me to illustrate a point too. So we're going to edit the property, and we're going to add to the to-do group wish list. I'm going to change that to yellow. Then to the in progress group, we're going to add propagating. We'll order them in a second. Dormant and struggling. Bring these down. I wish it would let you create them after. That's something I mentioned in the first Notion for Beginners video. It's a little quirk of Notion I don't love. And we're going to change the colors here. Propagating will make purple. Dormant will make gray. And struggling will make orange. And then we'll update the colors down here. Pink for gifted. Graveyard to red, don't really know why, and to buy will make green. Okay, so we have a series of statuses, and what I'm gonna do is just change a few of these. I'm just gonna make this up, so give me just 1 second. All right, I've updated the statuses. I just did it at random. You'd obviously wanna make sure that the statuses line up with the real status of your plants, but I just wanted to illustrate how these work and needed them to be in a couple different groups. So what we're gonna do next is actually add the grouping. Now, you can do this in a couple different ways. The main way Notion had for the longest time, was the only way, is to go to settings and choose group and then choose the property you want to group by. I can't even explain to you how excited I was for this change that I'm about to show you. Finally, I mean, it was years. I was like, why don't they just let you group this way? I wanted it for so long, and they finally rolled it out where you can just go to the property you want to group by and choose group from the menu. It's such a simple change, but it's so much more of an efficient way of handling things. So we're going to choose group on status, and you're going to see what it does. It now adds grouping to all of our different statuses. You'll see here under growing, there's 2 plants, and then everything else, the way I set it up, there's only 1. Now, this isn't the most useful view for our particular use case. I'm going to show you how to modify it in just a sec. But as an example, let's quickly add a new propagating plant. You'll notice that there's a new page underneath each group. If I choose new here and say goldfish plant, again, remember our template applied from the last video, and you'll notice that whatever we've grouped by, that grouping carries through to the plant we just created. So because we created it in the propagating group, the status is by default set to propagating. So that's handy to know. One other thing I want to point out is how groups can be reordered. So right now we have this tied under group and sort. It's sorted by ascending, and that sort is happening here. But if we wanted to, we could manually drag and drop the order of the groups to get them to show in whatever order we wanted. And when I adjusted that, you'll notice that the sort changed to manual. If I go back, this will lock it back in to the status order. So if I edit the property here and drag down, it carries through now, and it's locked to the order of the status. So you can do that. There's one more small thing to be aware of before we move into the actual grouping we need to do. And that is groups, if you have a lot of them, they can get hidden. So I'm going to pull over another example, and I created a bunch of fake statuses for this to force this to happen. I have more than 10 groups in this. You'll see these tests here, and I've got this load more because not all of them can show. That is a default of Notion. So if you have more than 10 groups, which can happen, maybe not in this particular use case, but in general, I have had that happen. Sometimes they'll be collapsed under that load more. You're not nuts if you can't see it, it's just hidden. Okay, so I know I've been teasing this better way of grouping for this use case. We're gonna finally fix for that. The status property has this unique grouping inside of it versus just a standard select, these to do, in progress, and complete kind of subcategories. So the grouping also has the ability to group by those instead of just by the status. So let me show you what I mean. If I go to settings, group, and then choose status by instead of by option, I choose group instead. You'll see here now to do, in progress, and complete, and all of the statuses that belong to this group show together. I think this is a much cleaner view. Basically, all I have to do is look at in progress for the most part, and this is a lot cleaner. Now, there's one more thing that Notion just released. I believe it was released about a week ago from the time I recorded this video. They added a new conditional formatting option so that you can color the entire row based on some property. So let's add that to this, and you'll see how helpful that is and why I chose the colors for each of the properties. If I come to settings, there's now this new conditional color option, and I can choose new color setting and status. And now the status dictates the row color. So if I change growing to struggling, you'll see that the oxalis color changed, and now I can see the different statuses at a glance. I'll change this back to growing. That is such a powerful new thing. It's made visualizing data so much better. I was in my full-time job, and the one day a week that we're in the office, that's when I happened to notice that this change came to Notion. This new feature was released, and I audibly gasped, and my coworkers all looked at me like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Notion just released a new feature," and I was really excited. And they all went, "Yeah, that tracks. You're a lunatic and a nerd." And of course I am, and was very appreciative of that compliment. Anyway, I do love this new change, and I think it makes the data much easier to see, especially as you're working in condensed groups like this. All right, that's all I've got for you for this video. If you want to download this, please head to queerefficiency.com/beginner. It will take you to this page, and you can get each template that corresponds with the video that you're watching. So that'll be this one, 1.0.2. Now, if you find yourself wondering how to keep track more at a glance of which plants need urgent care or which plants need details filled out, I'm covering that in my next Notion for Beginners video. Over there, I'll show you how to set up a sorting and filtering system that makes managing your houseplants a breeze. I'll see you over there.